This is probably from our 12.5 homework. We're using the chain rule to take this derivative dq dt, where q is a function of x, y, and z, and they're all parametric functions of t. So the chain rule says that we're going to take the partial with q with respect to x, and then to that we're going to chain on the dx dt. So I'm going to stick that right there beside it. And then we're going to add to that the partial of y, our partial q with respect to y, and then chain on dy dt. So that would be kind of like a parentheses here, so we don't confuse it with subtraction. And then that's going to be added to partial with respect to z, dz dt. So we're going to get something that looks like that. Now all of these have this common 4x squared, 4y squared, 3z squared, the negative 1/2 power. And because x is sine and y is cosine, 4x squared is 4 sine squared, 4y squared is 4 cosine squared, and the sine squared, cosine squared, we can factor that out and have a 4, or sorry, the 4 factor out and end up with a sine squared, cosine squared, which is 1. So that just combines to a 4 in all of these. The 3z squared will be 3 sine squared, and because of the negative 1/2, that'll take it down to the denominator. So that'll be a common denominator in all these pieces that are being added together. And in the numerator, because of the 4x, what we're going to end up with here is we're going to have a 4x, right, or x is sine of t, times the dx dt, the cosine t. So that's going to be the numerator over top of that common denominator down there. And we're going to replace x with sine t, and then we're going to do 4y times negative sine t. Okay, so we'll have a minus sign, and the y is cosine t. So we'll replace that. So we'll have a 4 sine t cosine t minus 4 cosine t sine t. So those will end up canceling, we'll see in just a little bit. And then 3z, where z is sine t cosine t. Okay, so 3 sine t cosine t, and then these all end up canceling, we'll see in just a second. So what this is going to look like is this is our common denominator, and then we're going to put over top of that all that stuff that I said we were going to do. So the 4 sine t cosine t, 4 sine t cosine t, right, minus there 4 cosine t sine t, plus 3 sine t cosine t. And then again you see the 4 sine t cosine t minus 4 sine t cosine t cancel, and so we're left with just 3 sine cosine divided by that common denominator.